keep it live, that's right. From Pennsylvania to across the globe, it's time for the Steelers All-Star Show.
Welcome to the Steelers by the Lake podcast. My name is James Strong, joined once again by all my co-hosts, Cody Tanner, Nick Pretzel, and Jill from Ohio. How are you folks doing on this chilly Saturday morning?
I feel like we're all fighting sickness, or at some degree or some level. Nick and I are going to be doing homecoming stuff today for Edinburgh's homecoming. I'm assuming you're doing stuff, Nick. I didn't even ask.
Yeah, I got to work this morning, but yeah, I'm going to be watching the parade from my office upstairs, especially because it is cold and wet outside, and as you can tell, my voice is not entirely here, so
Yep.
I'm not trying to make that worse. But I will be enjoying the parade as it passes by my house.
I may come set up shop in front of your house. Just a heads up.
Feel free.
So,
Feel free. Scare all the college kids
so
off my
are like
lawn.
4,500 other people. Not really that many, but anyways. No, I'm doing well. Nick, how are you doing?
Yeah, as I mentioned, a little bit under the weather still, but it's a cold, rainy day, and when you live in a house that's 100+ years old, it gets a little drafty. So I'm all bundled up, and I'm waiting until the last possible minute to turn my heat on. But we're ready to talk some Steelers football. I've got my tea. I'm getting all warmed up, and you know what would really warm me up is a nice win this weekend. But Jill, how are you doing today?
Also, still fighting the sickness. I feel like that's true every time we record. But those little petri dishes that I work with all week, they just keep bringing me something new. It's just the gift that never stops giving at this point. But instead of being smart like Nick, I've got my Alani here because I need energy. So, James, how you doing?
Doing well. I feel like I'm the only one in the group not sick this morning, but y'all are toughing it out, and I appreciate that very much. You know what else I appreciate is when people go and give us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. We're more than due for one. So one of you superstars, pause your podcast right now, go over, do a 5-star review for us, and we'll greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to like and comment on the YouTube. A lot of you guys are good at that. But every single time one of you does that, it helps out the algorithm so more people can see this show.
You had me going for a minute there, James. I thought you were about to say we had one. I was getting all pumped. So James isn't the only one who gets excited, just so everyone knows. But he's definitely probably the most excited out of all of us.
Yeah, James is the only one. James is the only one that dreams about it. So he's like, you're not wrong. So obviously this is the preview show for the Cleveland Browns game that is happening on October 12th, which is tomorrow. We're very excited to have football back. It was an early bye week, but we're ready to talk Steelers football again, especially after all our division rivals lost last week, which if you haven't listened to the bye week show, go listen to it. It was a fun time. We talked about our horrible bold predictions before the season started, which aren't doing so well now. And it was a good time. But
there's a reason they were bold.
But James, we got some things to talk about first before we get to this game. Let's go over a few things.
Yeah, real active week for the Steelers practice squad. This is the second week in a row now that we're talking about a team whose mascot is all about stealing stuff off of your boats, stealing players off of our practice squad. This time the Oakland Raiders, or Las Vegas Raiders these days. I grew up in Los Angeles, and it's Oakland. Now it's Las Vegas. It's tough to keep track of.
Honestly.
But those filthy Raiders took Jawan Bentley. They took John Radigan off of our practice squad, who Radigan had not been used yet, but he was likely to be used as a special teamer. He was a really good special teamer as a middle linebacker. So he's gone. They did replace him with linebacker Jacoby Windman, who tried out for the team a couple of years ago. Has been kind of around the league a little bit. So he'll be the placeholder in the middle linebacker room. They did also release linebacker Jawan Bentley, who has only been on the team for a couple of weeks. He was signed right before that Patriots game as a former star middle linebacker for the Patriots. In that move, the corresponding move was signing running back Raheem Blackshear to the practice squad. The key there is Blackshear has a lot of experience returning kicks. So there's a real good chance that later on today, Blackshear is the guy that's called up this week with the ability to do the kick return duties. Trey Sermon only has one more elevation, so once they do that, he can't be elevated anymore. So I believe that's where Raheem Blackshear comes into play here. The next one, Cody, you saw who this was, right? Pittsburgh brought in a guy for a workout that's a former top 10 overall pick.
Yeah, I mean, this was also something Nick talked about in the preseason a lot of Isaiah Simmons available for this still a free agent, I should say. And so they brought him in. Isaiah Simmons, a former, if I'm not mistaken, first round pick.
First, I think.
Top 10.
Yeah, and he's been discussed as both a safety middle linebacker hybrid. He's very large, very fast. I don't know. I haven't seen him play recently to know where he still is physically or anything like that. But they did bring him in for a workout. And that's very, very interesting because you got to wonder what their concern is. Are they concerned about the middle linebackers? Are they concerned about the safety room right now? I feel like we just got a lot of guys back from injury. So why are we bringing in this guy? Is there something we don't know? Is there a lingering injury that might have gotten worse with somebody or might be getting worse with somebody? Or are we going to trade somebody? Like, what's happening? So very, very curious to see but it was just bringing him in. We don't have any updates other than that. So very interesting.
Yeah, to me, this move, worst case scenario, could be an elite special teamer. It hasn't worked out for him on defense yet. He doesn't seem to have the capabilities at safety. Safety is just such a highly disciplined position. You have to know exactly where everyone's supposed to be at all times. You have to be kind of a step ahead. Middle linebacker is extremely physical. Even though he was like 6'4", 240 when he came out and ran into 4.3s on his 40-yard dash, that doesn't mean you're physical enough to be able to handle middle linebacker. You know, the hope when he was drafted was that he would be the next Derwin James type because how Derwin James was used all over the field in college. He's found a role as a safety in the NFL and done a very good job at it. But not a lot of people consider Derwin James like a top 5 safety in the league. That was the hope that Isaiah Simmons would follow a similar path, and it just hasn't worked for him. So that doesn't mean that he won't find a home that's best suited for him. But worst case scenario, his elite athleticism and size should be a menace on kick coverage.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking it might have something to do with the lack of using Jabril Peppers after the Patriots game. They didn't seem to use him a whole lot in the Vikings game, if I recall correctly. And so I think they were just trying to get a sense of, hey, can this guy come in and play safety for us? But if we bring him in for special teams, that's awesome. If he can contribute there with how athletic he is, that would be great. He was one of the top free agents available for most of the offseason and yet is still somehow out there. So I don't know what the league sees that we're not seeing because, again, a widely touted player since he was coming out of college. So like James said, it might just be from a little bit of a lack of production, but if you get him in the right unit and you can find the right fit with the guys around him to do the things that kind of cover what his weaknesses are, it's kind of like, in my opinion, how Minka wasn't allowed to be Minka because they were asking Minka to do un-Minka-like things for a couple years. So if you get Simmons into the right fit where he can use that athleticism in the way that he's more familiar with and more comfortable doing, I feel like he could still be a contributor in the league as a defensive player. It just takes the right scheme fit for him to kind of pop off, and I don't think he's been granted that opportunity yet like he was in college. So it'll be interesting to see if we bring him in and if we can provide that for him. But if we do bring him in, I hope he can at least contribute on the special teams, as James was saying, because you know how Danny Smith loves guys that can just have a freak athleticism and can go out there and block kicks or be a capable gunner. So I'll hopefully be able to get another weapon for good old gum chewer Danny Smith.
Well, and let's not forget the business side of it too. There's a chance that they wanted him and his agent wanted more money than anyone was willing to pay in the offseason. And now that the season's going, they're like, all right, you know, he might be saying to his agent, I want to play football. And so that may have, I mean, we may have wanted to bring him in the entire time and have these conversations. So very, very interesting to see. James, you had something to say?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me physically, size-wise, of what Jeremiah Moon was. And I know Jeremiah Moon was an outside linebacker, but that height, that length was something that was an attribute for Jeremiah Moonen, being able to block a punt. So, this could be a real asset with that kind of explosiveness and length in the punt block game. Pittsburgh's been so good at blocking punts over the years. It's something that maybe he could be a real asset for. The next move Pittsburgh made was bringing someone in that they also have had in multiple times for workouts. Outside linebacker KJ Henry was signed to the practice squad. He was with the Browns all season and now has signed with the Steelers. He's 6'4", 251. Coincidence that they signed him a couple of days before the game versus the Browns and he was on their roster all year? Tough to say, but there's a chance KJ Henry can give us a little bit of insight as to what to expect with this Browns defense right before the Browns game. So I don't expect him to contribute or be called up from the practice squad, but there might be some very important intelligence can be gained from this guy.
Yeah,
I feel like Patriots always used to do that to us, and I don't mind that one bit. So hopefully he can help us out, give us some looks or give us some reads that we can use to our advantage against the Browns this weekend. So excited for that. Let's go over the injuries because that's an exciting part of this upcoming game. We're actually looking forward to getting some guys back. So real quick, the guys, I'm going to go through the guys that have no game status, which more than likely means they're going to play. And we have the obvious Darius Slay, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, and DK Metcalf with the contusion to the birth certificate. They're just a little old, and so they're taking a break. And then you got guys like Ben Skoranek, who is dealing with an illness, who should play. Joey Porter with the hamstring fully participated all week, which is huge.
He said he's going to go too.
yeah.
Well, he can say that, but the doctor's final decision. Jaylen Warren with the knee injury, full participant all week. James shared a video with us on social media that his knee looks, he was doing cuts and everything looked very great. Alex Highsmith with the ankle injury, fully participated the last 2 days of the week. So he's probably a go, which is very exciting for that as well. A lot of defensive guys coming back. And then the two other guys, Calvin Austin and Jalen Ramsey, who got injured in the game before the bye week. Jalen Ramsey still listed as questionable, though he was a full participant on Friday. Calvin Austin listed as out, didn't participate all week with that shoulder injury. So expect to see a little bit, potentially more Calvin Austin or just way more trips tight ends.
A little less Calvin Austin.
Or excuse me, more Roman Wilson. Sorry.
I'm hoping to see more Roman Wilson. I have a feeling it's going to be more Ben Skoranek.
I think it's going to be more Scotty Miller, honestly.
I would love to see either one of those guys out there, but I do want to see what we have in Roman Wilson because I feel like he hasn't gotten that opportunity. Yep. He's had one reception on the year so far, I believe.
Yeah.
So
targets, one catch.
Yeah. So he had I believe 5 snaps last year, other than being injured. Or maybe it was more than that. It was 5 targets. I don't recall exactly the number.
He was on the field for 5 plays before getting re-injured. Yeah.
Yeah. So I loved this guy coming out of the draft. I didn't think he was going to fall to us. His motto from Michigan was "No block, no rock." And in the game we're playing right now with Arthur Smith, with all these play actions, with all the options and things like that we run. To have a guy out there whose mentality is, if I'm not blocking, I'm not expecting to get a pass. That's what I want to see out there. And Calvin Austin was doing that. And I think that's a little bit of part of what got him hurt was he probably had a little bit of a nagging shoulder injury from that block he threw for DK Metcalf and then aggravated it a bit more. But I want to see a guy out there who's going to be tenacious in the run game as well as see what he's got in the receiving game because he was great for Michigan in their championship run that year. So I'm excited to see what we have in this kid because I know he's got that Steeler mentality that I want to see him be able to put out there. We just don't have the tape on him in the NFL yet.
Jill, you have any insight on that?
No, I just was thinking literally the same thing. I'm excited to see him get a chance if we even throw it to him. I have a feeling that there's going to be more of the relying on Scotty Miller and Ben Skoranek potentially and not getting creative with the things that we don't know yet. And hopefully maybe utilizing more tight ends that we've seen the uptick with because that would make some of our bold predictions give us a fighting chance with our bold predictions. But I'd like to see us utilize our tight ends, especially against this like forefront line for the Browns. They are just, I don't say this often about the Browns, but this defense is really good from what we've seen. And I mean, they're putting up a dog fight, truly. And so if we are running the same plays or we're trying to do the same things and hit the same guys over and over, we will not be successful. So I think spreading out, like what you were saying, Nick, where it's like everybody's getting a target, or, you know, you're putting Roman Wilson out there and you target him, but then on the next one, he's the blocker, right? Like it's going to keep the Browns defense guessing, and that's where we need to keep them in order to win this game. So
absolutely. Yeah, I agree with both of you guys on this. I feel like on passing downs, like if it's 3rd and long, you're going to see a lot more Scotty Miller and Roman Wilson. And in those jumbo sets, I think we'll see a lot more Ben Skoranek, as he's the probably the best blocker of the group of that. And not that the other two aren't willing. They're very willing blockers. But Skoronek's like 215 pounds, so he's just a bigger dude than those two are. And I love how he gets just the dirty work done around the piles. You know, he has no problem jumping in there and really making it happen. I love on the injury list here that all the guys that we were concerned about, are they going to be ready to go this week from previous injuries, other than the most recent game, don't even have an injury designation. Mm-hmm. So the only true injury designations going into the game are Ramsey and Austin. And with Ramsey going full on Friday, that means they're just waiting to see how he feels today. If there's no setback today from going full yesterday, he's going to play. And that's huge for our defense. Having all of our corners healthy for once would be the first time of the year. So that can only be a good thing if that's able to happen. If we switch over to the Browns side of the ball, they have a pretty long laundry list of guys here, most of which are expected to play. The only true game status is defensive tackle Mike Hall, who hasn't played yet this season. He's still returning from a knee injury last year. So he was limited this week. They're not sure as far as him playing or not. They don't have a game designation. They just have him limited, so they're not saying whether it's a probable or a questionable. Batonio got some rest days this week. Malachi Corley, the wide receiver, had a groin but went full. Defensive tackle Malik Collins was resting. Grant Delpit with an ankle but full. Myles Garrett with an ankle but full by the end of the week. Was not full earlier in the week. Mike Hall limited. Defensive tackle Shelby Harris had a knee but was also resting as a veteran but went full. So that's a whole thing there. Offensive tackle KT Leviston with a calf was full. David Njoku dealing with a knee full. Center Ethan Pocic with a neck but a full participant. Cornerback Denzel Ward, a hip injury but full participant. Safety DeMonte KZ was sick and then was limited. You expect him to play. And then the last one, Raheem Sanders with a knee and an ankle, but a full participant. So one thing that's a takeaway for me on this is they have DeMonte KZ. Yeah. I guess I had forgotten that. I realized it, that we picked up Thornhill from them in free agency. They picked up KZ. I love the thought of our running backs one-on-one versus KZ in his tiny little butt.
Pardon me.
I think he's only played in one game. He has no stats. If he's even played.
Please let him match up against Darnell Washington for one play. Please.
You just won't pick him up.
I just want to see KZ and Bush out there at the same time. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing. Two of our failed projects lining up to start against some of the guys we've got out there now.
And to be fair, I feel like KZ had a couple of good years with us. Just near the end, his size just caught up to him. His size and age, he wasn't as fast as he was in younger years. And the fact that he was like 185-pound safety trying to hit people with everything he's got, it's just never going to work. You're only going to last so long before your body starts falling apart when you're hitting guys that are drastically bigger than you all day.
Right.
And he's not listed as a starter for them, which we'll get into that depth chart right now. And first we'll go over that offensive side of the ball. Obviously, starting quarterback Dylan Gabriel with Shador Sanders now officially being the number 2. I don't really
After
care
the
which
trade
one.
of Joe Flacco to the
Correct.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Correct. I don't even really care who starts this game. I'm excited to play either one of them. James talked briefly about how this is a very small quarterback, and if any of our guys get even a finger on him, he's going down. So either way, I'm excited to play this Browns team led by a starting or playing quarterback, because that's how it's going to be.
One of the reasons they switched from Flacco to Gabriel was his ability to get the ball out quickly.
Yeah.
So that's something I think Pittsburgh's going to have to look for. But luckily, we do, like I mentioned in the bye week show, have a full game of tape on him now. So we can kind of get a better sense of what's going on. That's something the Vikings didn't have, and they still managed to come out and get the win there. So hopefully we can take advantage of that and kind of get some reads on his tendencies. And with some of the guys we've got on our roster, especially getting our corners back, I have optimism that we can handle that.
Well, and our D-line are so good at getting their hands up.
Yep.
I mean, I am a little surprised, not to go super off topic, but I am a little surprised that they traded Joe Flacco, like, especially with the knowledge that he has on Pittsburgh in general, from the amount of times that he's faced us. Like, and then you got rid of him the week that you play us. Like, to me, I'm just like,
Jill, it's the Browns. What did you expect?
I mean, you're right. I know.
They just didn't want to trade for Russ and give us the better compensatory pick. They knew that the Browns would fumble their 5th round pick, and they knew that we would do much better with a 3rd.
Realistically, they fumbled this decision, though. I agree with Jill. I mean, the last time we saw Joe Flacco was against the Colts.
And he
started against Anthony Richardson, injured Anthony Richardson. Flacco comes in and absolutely torches us, and the Colts win the game. So if anybody knows how to come back against Pittsburgh and win after being down early, it is Joe Flacco.
Right.
And he won't be there to guide them.
And he's played in Acrisure before. Like, there are so many things that I'm like, that could have been a benefit for you, especially since the Browns have not won in regular season at Pittsburgh since like the early 2000s. It's like some crazy stat.
Yeah,
it's
we
like,
better knock on something.
I know, because, well, here was my thought. I was like, okay, I said that. And then I was like, well, we didn't win in Foxborough since 2008. And I was like, oh, no.
Unless you're counting that one playoff game where the snap went over Ben's head. And
regular season. I did say regular season.
Okay, fair enough.
Playoff game, different. But regular season, it was like the early 2000s. So,
yeah.
But we split the division every year. So
We'll take them not having Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel being the starter, Shador being the backup. We'll take it.
Bailey Zappi being the 3rd.
Maybe the 2nd.
Well, because you can't emergency.
Stefanski listed Shador as 2nd yesterday.
Okay, yeah, but if they elevate Zappi, he can't be the number 3.
I knew
He
that.
has to be the 2 if he gets elevated.
Jill's so happy.
I am happy because I was like, wait, if they listed him 2, that means they can't elevate him because he can't be the emergency 3rd.
Yep.
Browns are browning.
Browns are always
an educator.
Offensive line,
KT
Leviston, the starting left tackle, left guard Joel Bitonio, center Ethan Pochik, right guard Wyatt Teller, right tackle Jack Conklin. This is a very veteran and talent-filled offensive line. They just don't play well.
Except they're playing terrible.
It's like it's what it's been for the last 3 years. These guys are awesome run blockers. They suck at pass blocking. It's okay. You're allowed to be good at one thing and bad at something else at the same time. But as time is going on, they're getting worse at both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're still doing a good job opening up holes in the run game, but their pass blocking is atrocious. And Conklin listed as the starter, but I don't know if he's starting or not. He was injured last I knew, so
yeah,
I know he's not on the injury report. I don't know if he's on the IR or what right now. I'm going to try and look that up while you continue talking about them.
Okay. Tight end group is led by David Njoku with Blake Whiteheart as the backup. Njoku is a very capable tight end who has had a decent career, and he's probably their number 1 target with how fast they want to get the ball out. And then you also have Jerry Jeudy, Jamari Thrash, Malachi Corley, and Isaiah Bond as the number 1 through 4 wide receivers. And then obviously the running back room led by the rookie Quinshon Junkins, and then followed up by Dylan Sampson, Jerome Ford, and Raheem Sanders. Expect to see a lot of Quinshon Judkins. There's a chance Pittsburgh's run defense needs to show up. Derek Harmon needs to come have a good game because Quinshon Judkins is probably the best chance this offense has of moving the ball against us. So.
The two biggest threats I see on this depth chart, as Cody mentioned, is one, Judkins, two, Njoku.
Yep.
Watching the film of I went back and rewatched some of the highlights of the London game with the Vikings. And those were the two.
Yeah.
What's that?
The Browns game, because we both recently played the Vikings.
That's why
you said London. My bad.
London. Yep. It's your turn to look silly after trying to call someone out.
Noticing the whole message, Cody. Noticing the whole message.
We're waking up, everyone. It's a good time. But Judkins was the primary. I wanted to say, the word I'm looking for is not coming to me, but the weapon that really did the most damage was Judkins. After that, it was Njoku, because prior to them switching to Gabriel, Njoku was not having the best season. Flacco was targeting the wide receivers more. He was targeting Harold Fannin more, and Njoku was not really getting a lot of production. When they switched to Gabriel, it almost seemed to be the opposite. Fannin got some targets, but Njoku seemed to be getting a majority of the targets. Jerry Jeudy's been non-existent so far, but again, it's a new quarterback. We have one game of tape on him, so we'll see what happens there. But when you have a young quarterback who's facing a solid defense in a foreign country in his first start, you're going to rely on the run. And Judkins has been productive. I was very high on him coming out of the draft. I wanted Pittsburgh to get him. I knew it wasn't going to happen. Unfortunately, he went to the Browns. I'm not necessarily worried because I've seen the improvement in our run defense every week, and getting Derek Harmon back clearly was an integral part of that. Getting Deshaun Elliott back was clearly an integral part of that. And now we also are going to have Alex Highsmith back, which I think will be a benefit there, because if we can continue to apply pressure on the quarterback, we can continue to hopefully get some more run plays and then just stuff them up the middle with Cam Hayward and Derek Harmon and not have to worry about Isaiah Loudermilk jumping out of the way. But now that we have a solid run defense, I think Judkins will still be effective, but will be less effective than he was against Minnesota, hopefully. And then I think the biggest worry we'll have to worry about will be David Njoku, as we have watching us play Hunter Henry was not a pretty sight. So I'm not too optimistic about our pass defense against David Njoku, who's on a division rival, and it's a division game, so anything can happen.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful that Joey Porter Jr. is back. I'm hopeful that Ramsey will play, because that will make a huge difference in us being able to hopefully hang with some of these pass catchers that might pose to be a bit more of a threat when they're so familiar with who we are, even though we're just as familiar with who they are.
Yeah, we're definitely going to try to stuff that offensive line. And this is a reminder of you guys to stuff that waistline. If you get the chance, go to Edinburgh Hotel Bar.
I was going to say stuff your face, but I'm glad you
It had to, rhyme, I suppose, or be the same word.
Supporters for Steelers by the Lake podcast is provided by Edinburgh Hotel Bar, serving a variety of lunch and dinner specials every day, including steak, seafood, and Italian pasta dishes and more. They are located in downtown Edinburgh at 100 Meadville Street. Information is available at 814-734-5103 or online at edinburghhotelbar.com.
If you're going out there for the game this weekend, expect a crowd. It is homecoming. They were quite busy last night, so it's a great place to be. The atmosphere is amazing, but just know that if you're going out there this weekend, you might have a bit of a crowd.
Yeah, I heard some screaming last night. There was a lot of stuff going on, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's homecoming. That's just normal." So,
they were the Greek Life alumni.
Seat, go early.
Yep.
The Greek Life alumni were having karaoke on the lawn across from my house late into the night last night. So, if that explains why I'm a little tired.
Jeez.
Nice.
Listen, I thought I lived close to campus. Nick is like right there. So, you want to bounce over to defense, James?
Yeah. So the defense is really the big stressor for a lot of fans right now. We know that this Browns defense has done some serious damage against some teams this year. And when we talk about the names here, it kind of will make some sense. Obviously, Myles Garrett needs no introduction. I'll use the Mike Tomlin phrase there. Opposite of him will be Isaiah McGuire, who had 2 sacks last week. So he's not someone to be just forgotten about. On the interior, they have Malik Collins, who's having a really nice year stuffing the run, and Mason Graham, the first-round pick, who was in the top 5 there. This is a very quick pass rushing, slashing type defensive tackle. He doesn't have good length. He doesn't have good strength as far as like upper body. He only did like 20 reps on the bench. Kind of embarrassing for a 300+ pound dude with short arms. But his hand speed and his foot speed as far as quickness are elite. So you got to bring your hand placement. It needs to be very precise with this guy. If you can get your hands inside his chest and control him, game over. Linebacker crew for them, they have Jerome Baker starting at the will linebacker, Carson Schwessinger, who's having a very nice season for them at the middle linebacker, and the Sam or strong side linebacker, Devin Bush, which just cracks me up because he's definitely best as a will linebacker in a run and chase type role, not taking on people on the strong side of things. So if he gets stuck one-on-one with Darnell Washington, that won't go well for him. He'll end up on his backside. So the linebacker core there is really an interesting group, with some really nice athleticism in this crew, but not really the staunch type run defenders. So they're run and chase. They're not more so stack and shed type linebackers. The defensive back room, we'll see Denzel Ward as the starting corner on one side, Tyson Campbell on the other, who they don't have listed, but just traded for 2 days ago. So there could be some concern there as far as assignments. If there's some weird things that Cleveland does coverage-wise, I would highly recommend the Steelers putting guys in motion in this game. I know a lot of people get sick of seeing all the motion. They don't want to see the jet sweeps. It doesn't matter if you do the jet sweeps or not. Put guys in motion this week because it may cause conflict of who knows what responsibility is with Tyson Campbell and the safeties and the other corners. So extremely important to get your guys on the move, have lots of crossing patterns and lots of stuff where people are weaving in and out, where there could be changes in assignment mid-play. That's going to be really important in tomorrow's game. Starting safeties, Grant Delpit and Ronnie Hickman, with DeMonte Casey and Rayshawn Jenkins backing them up. So it could be a little bit of KZ in their nickel or dime situation. That's where he came in for Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And Campbell coming in to replace Greg Newsome.
This is a 4-3 defense, but their defensive ends are that 260 to 275 type range. So they're not as big as some of the other 4-3 defensive ends we see. I still imagine that Darnell Washington and even Spencer Anderson are going to be a big factor in this game. They're probably going to run that jumbo beef package a few times. But you might have a little bit more success with your smaller tight ends in this game blocking, just because the defensive ends aren't as huge as they are on some teams.
Reminder, Nick talked about Greg Newsome being available now.
No, not available. He was traded for.
Or excuse me, you're right. Being not available now, to be clarified. So again, like you said, James, this defense is the bread and butter of this team. I mean, the defense is it. And last week they didn't do too hot. I mean, we watched them lose, and Myles Garrett wasn't involved at all, which is, and maybe I would potentially put the argument through that he knew Pittsburgh was coming up and he just loves to crap on us. Maybe he wasn't trying that hard last week. Maybe he was already focused on the Pittsburgh Steelers game this week. So I'm excited to see, our offensive line hopefully gelling against this defensive front and Myles Garrett. Listen, if we can hold him to a goose egg, I'm going to be very, very happy with the performance. So that's my goal for this game of holding him to 0. But again, seeing Devin Bush playing is going to be very exciting, and I know we know his weaknesses, so we can attack him real well. So excited for that.
My thought would be if Garrett was the focus of Minnesota's game plan, that might be why the opposite side ended up resulting with 2 sacks. you focus on eliminating Garrett, you end up giving up 2 sacks on the other side. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But yes, would love to give him a goose egg. SYBU or whatever it is. Just shut your bitch up.
No, Nick, no.
Oh man.
That's the kind of mental attitude that I have towards Myles Garrett. But in any case, I just hope that the focus doesn't become so Garrett centric that we allow other things to happen. And I don't think that it will, but Minnesota managed to pull out a win despite giving up 2 sacks on the other side while focusing on Garrett. So hopefully we can not give up 2 sacks on the other side while focusing on Garrett. I have a feeling Broderick Jones is going to see a lot of him. So hopefully he can continue his upwards trajectory because he did look pretty good last game. So hopefully he continues to keep that moving forward. And I believe I saw Tomlin have a bit of a question from the media about how Broderick's going to hold up against Garrett, and he goes, Broderick's a competitor. He doesn't need to be talked to. I don't need to talk to him. He knows what's going on. So hopefully that Tomlin confidence pays off.
Yeah, and realistically, they've seen each other before, so Broderick knows what he's about to go against. To me, like, where has Myles Garrett's production been the last couple of weeks? So last week he was either going against Christian Darrisaw, who's a Pro Bowl left tackle, or he was going against a backup right tackle who I'm sure got help with tight end chips. So my guess is he probably was going against the right tackle, was facing double teams, and it just didn't go so well. But he didn't want to have to go against that left tackle because the week before we saw him start the game going against Penei Sewell. That didn't go so well, so he switched over to the other side to go against Taylor Decker, ended up with no sacks in that game either. Because he was going against 2 talented guys. So this is our 2 first-round picks. It's their chance to really show what they've got. I would hope that in a lot of passing sets, Pittsburgh will go 2 tight end with Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith and just put 1 on each side. Then you don't have to worry about where does he line up. You can just chip with it, whichever tight end is there, and then have him throw a shoulder, go into the route. You don't have to stress about it too much. So that would be my hope for it. Special teams wise with these Browns, just to go over it real quick, their punter and placeholder will be Corey Bjorquez. The kicker, Andre Sismite. I don't know. I'm not familiar with this name.
Isn't this another new kicker? Like
there's like 100 of them this year. Kickers have been so bad. Everybody's getting a new one every week. The Browns, this might not be their first kicker on the season. I'm not 100% sure on that. Kick return, they have only Jerome Ford listed. Punt return, they have only Isaiah Bond listed. And long snapper is Rex Sunahara, who at one point in time a few years ago tried out for the Steelers. So interesting to see a familiar name there. And long snappers can be very important.
They can.
That's the Bengals.
They can be very, very, very important. James, it's now time to transition over to talk keys to success. So we're going to do 2 keys to success as we always do. Man, everyone's here this week to do this. We don't have to tell anyone's anything. This is exciting.
Wow. Shots
Who
fired.
wants to go first? I don't want to go last. That's all I know. I did it last time. And I had to go twice in a row. I didn't like it.
You want to go first then, Cody?
Sure, I'll go first. You guys can fight amongst yourselves for second, third, and fourth. I think the number one key to success in beating the Browns is flustering that rookie quarterback, is getting him off his game early. Now this goes for whether Shador comes in the game or Dylan Gabriel plays. I want to see between sacks, rushes that they classify as, QB rush or pressure, and hits. I want that to be a double-digit stat across the board between those 3 things. So, rushes, pressures, hits, and sacks. I want that to accumulate at least 10 throughout the game to make sure that we're doing this early and often.
Nick, you want to go next?
May as well. I also want to go with a bit of a defensive key here. I think almost equally as important as pressuring the rookie quarterback is going to be stuffing the rookie running back. I want to hold Quinshon Judkins to ideally 50 rushing yards or less. I think that will definitely eliminate that run game. I don't think Jerome Ford can spring on as much on us as he used to. And if we can hold Judkins to 50 or less, it's going to make them have to pass more, going to get our pass rushers to be able to eat, and can allow Cam and Harmon to kind of get their arms up and bat a couple passes to help James with one of his bold predictions there. So
He doesn't have a single game so far out of the 4 he's played under 50 yards. So I like it.
Absolutely.
This will
Joe.
be the game. This will be the game.
Joe, would you like to go third?
Sure.
All right.
I think for us this whole season, our offense has struggled with time of possession and snap count. So for this game, I would like to see 70 plus offensive snaps for us to win this game. Tire the defense out, keep us on the field, keep us in control of the ball. And I think that's going to win us the game.
I like it. That would be a real nice change. I feel like they haven't had a game with a lot of snaps because it's either feast or famine, long drives that end in a touchdown or 3 and outs.
Well, and that's not sustainable. You know, like that's great. We love those big splash plays when it's just an 80 yards down the field and we are good to go and got points on the board. But at the same time, we need to be controlling the clock. We need to be tiring out that defense. And I want to see that for this game.
All right, so time for back-to-back for me, which is always more stressful when I'm writing it down on top of saying it out loud. But here we go. My first one's still available. I can't believe my number 1 overall pick is still here. But my first key to success for this game, we've got a short, small quarterback. I want to see 6 passes deflected by the front unit. I'm talking defensive line and linebackers. I'll include middle linebackers in this too. But the front 7, I want to see at least 6 batted passes. And honestly, I don't think you're going to have to jump to do it. Just get your hands up. He's a short guy. That release is going to be lower than what you're expecting. This is going to be one of those games where Cam could easily get 2 or 3 like he oftentimes does. I'm praying Y.A. Black gets involved in this game so that my preseason prediction comes true. But let's get 6 times passes batted by the defensive line and linebackers combined.
And to be clear, I think that to give James also a little bit of time to write that, his clarification needs to be that Y.A. Black gets play time because we're playing so well. We don't need to play Harmon or Hayward. We're just so far ahead that Y.A. Black is the starter at that point. So,
but he's good. Like
yeah.
Even if he does go in to give Derek Harmon a rest for a snap, like I don't feel like that's we're trading for like Loudermilk. Like then I'm scared.
Yeah.
When it's Black, I'm like, to me, it feels like a lateral move. Like, I'm like, oh, if Black's in, then he's going to get the job done. Like, there's no question of confidence, I guess, for me.
Yeah.
So
and
I'd love to see more of him.
I think you need to have a healthy rotation on that D-line, too. You can't be playing Cam Hayward and Derek Harmon every single snap. I have good confidence in those top 3 with Harmon, Benton, and Hayward. Black, I think, has a lot of promise. He's shown some real nice things. Aquala has shown some nice things versus the run. I think our top 5 are kind of solidified now.
Yeah.
And I'm in good shape with all those guys. On pass rushing downs, probably like to see a little more Black than Aquala, but we'll see where this all goes in this game. So my second key to success in this game, I'm going to go with 8 catches total for the tight end room. I want to see Pittsburgh get the tight
end. Was yours the same number though?
No.
Okay.
But it was okay. That's okay.
Jill's was 8 catches for 1 tight end.
Right.
That'd be impressive. But they got to get these guys back involved with specifically one person I'm going to include in this 8+ catches by the tight end room is Spencer Anderson. Low key, look out for them using him in the passing game this week. There was a lot of talk about his experience as a college basketball player, some experience at the tight end position in high school, and people even commenting on him having soft hands. How do you know he has soft hands if you're not throwing it to him in practice? So it has happened already. there's been probably too much chatter about it because I'm sure the Browns are aware this is something could happen based off all the reporters that have been talking about this week. But still, I'm going to include that in there. I think Spencer Anderson at least gets to run one route, might even get the ball thrown his way this week.
You know what? I like that. I think Pittsburgh would go wild if that happened.
Yes.
Like absolutely wild. That'd be crazy. Okay.
Jill, that puts you up, and I just ruined everything for you.
You ruined everything. If only there weren't 12,000 things we could say about keys to success, but I'm going to try to be specific. So I think I'll go defensive side of the ball, and I would like to see, let's see, at least 4 sacks. I think would kind of like what you were saying. I think it was Nick, like getting into the quarterback's head. I want to see 4 sacks, but I want to see it from at least 2 to 3 different defensive guys.
I like it. Spread it around. Make sure the
Right.
pressure's coming from everywhere.
Right.
Yep.
It's not just, I mean, for my bold prediction, would I like 4 of them to come from TJ? Yes, absolutely. We need that projection to 23. So what better way to do it against the Browns? We already know he's their dad. So like, but I would like to see it spread out so that it's like, you've got to keep, you don't know where the pressure is coming from. Like true, like Blitzburg. Like I have the shirt that says that. I'd like to see that type of football again, which I feel like we're starting to. Like it's heading in that direction. So at least 4
Absolutely.
sacks from 2 to 3 different guys.
So
That would
7
be
sacks, 4 from TJ, and then 3 from
4
other guys.
correct. Actually, you know what? Perfect.
I'm also gonna go with a sack key here, but I'm taking it to our side of the ball. We want to keep Aaron upright. I want to see no more than 1 sack, ideally, obviously 0, but I don't want to see them get more than 1 sack on Aaron. Keep him upright. Give him the time to do what he needs to do. Eliminate Myles Garrett. Tell him to go sack another quarterback a different day because Aaron staying upright in this game is my key to success.
I like it. Absolutely. Cody, that puts you up to bring us home here, buddy.
It does. I'm going to go very basic on my last one in the sense that, you know, these are not necessarily bold predictions. These are not, you know, it's keys to success. The key to success here, I think for Pittsburgh is putting up points. I mean, the key to having a successful game and leaving with a victory is being able to put up points. And I think that Pittsburgh needs to have another 30+ point game. I think it needs to happen. I think we need to score early and often. And even if you want to put as a secondary key to success because of that, I want to be limited to only 1 3 and out. Like, I understand football happens. I understand it's a good defense. No more than 1. Like, get first downs, move the ball, get in field goal range at minimum, and put some points on the board.
Control the game, control the clock.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't forget
hand
there's
in hand.
60 minutes.
Stealing football is 60 minutes.
60 minutes, baby. Mike Tomlin said it best.
He sure did. So on to our score predictions for the game. Boy, this is an interesting one. Last time we did score predictions, Nostradamus down here nailed it. So what do you guys got this week? Let's do the same order. Cody, you can go first.
Well, I just said the key to success is scoring 30 points. So
Yes, you did.
I'm going to go ahead and say we put up a 34 bomb, and I'm going to go 34-24. I think that we're going to struggle, and I hate to say it, but for some reason we do. And I think that Gabriel might have a decent game, and Quinshon Judkins, I think it's a lot.
All right, Nick, what about you?
We mentioned it a little bit before we started recording as we were kind of gathering our thoughts. I feel like this could be a bit of a trap game since it's a divisional game. And as Cody sort of alluded to, Pittsburgh likes to occasionally play down to their opponents when they shouldn't. So
occasionally is an understatement, but that's fine.
I'm trying to be optimistic here, Cody. Give me this.
Right. See where it says?
See,
Dare
my
he be
tag is like,
optimistic?
dare I be optimistic? I'm trying really hard. I'm going to go with Jill's score prediction from last week in 24-21 Pittsburgh because I feel like the Browns have our number. Our defense has not been the best ranked against the pass this year. And I think that with Gabriel being quick to get the ball out, despite getting some key pieces back, we still might have a little bit of trouble. So I think it's going to be tight because of the divisional matchup. I'm going to have Boz for president coming in and giving us the win with that 3-point lead at the end there.
Amen.
Excellent. Jill, your turn. What's the
It's
real
taking-
score going to be?
I know, right?
Jeez.
Listen, if I go 2 for 2, I don't know what
You better buy a
lottery I
lottery
need to
ticket
play.
at that point. Yep.
Because that's going to be crazy. But I have a feeling, because this is divisional football, it's in Pittsburgh. We're coming off the bye, which historically does not always bode well for the Steelers. It's almost like, they're a little rusty, so they got to keep, get a little oil in the machine kind of thing. And so it's either there's going to be a lot of points or there's not going to be a lot of points. And I'm erring on the not a lot of points. Unfortunately, I think the final score will be 20-14 with us winning. I think we're going to, hopefully, with my bold prediction of 70 offensive snaps, I think we'll move it down the field. I'm not sure we will get it always within the red zone, and I think we're going to have to rely on Boswell to kick 2 field goals. But I think we will hold Cleveland to 14 points.
Very interesting. So once again, the thought I had in my mind is somehow still available. It was real close. You almost just stole it from me, Jill. I have Pittsburgh winning in a close one, 20-13.
Oh,
So I think they get 2 field goals and a touchdown, and we get in the end zone a couple of times, get a couple field goals. I just struggle to see either team have a ton of success offensively in this game because the defenses are so good. I'm really hopeful that Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson can build off of what they did last game. If they're as good this game as they were last game in Minnesota, Judkins isn't going to have a big game, and they're not going to have anywhere to scramble because these guys were all over the quarterback too. So very important those two are not only on their game against the run, but against these tight ends, because these are move tight ends, not just Njoku. Harold Fannin Jr., a move tight end. They're going to be all over the place. They're going to pass it to him. So those dudes got to make it happen, but I think we can. And I think Pittsburgh comes away with another victory this week.
Yeah. We love it. If you guys want to share, go ahead.
Keep your eyes on social media. We might do like a Facebook Live or something, since we're all going to be watching the game together for the first time ever.
That's
I'm
fair.
so excited.
That is very true. And we'll discuss we still need to discuss some things about that. So, very exciting for this game. If you guys want to share your 2 keys to success or score predictions, feel free to comment on the YouTube video, message us directly. If any of them hit or become big things that mattered in the game, we'll happily talk about them and give you a shout out. Can't thank you guys enough for being here. Be sure to like and follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Subscribe, ring the bell. It is free. Doesn't cost you a thing. Don't forget the 5-star reviews and Apple Podcasts make James and Nick very happy. And all of us, we kind of enjoy them. But until next time, this is your host, James, Cody, Nick, and Jill from Ohio, signing off.
Peace.
Go Steelers.